Pay bills, mow lawn, feed dog. Friends, I can't share an extraordinary message with you based on an ordinary list like this. So let's forget the list. I'll get to the bills at a later time. The lawn can wait for another day. And the dog, well, okay, the dog really ought to be fed. Because what I really need is a new list. What I really want is a new life filled with great stories. The problem is that great stories happen when good wins out over evil, or when we overcome immense personal obstacles, or when we achieve heroic acts like last weekend when the guy jumped into the river to save the drowning child, all to hundreds of people streaming on their cell phones. My life, though, is more planned, unspectacular, and most often lived for an audience of one. Oh, I've tried having other audiences. I've tried making the crowds my audience. I've tried being known and liked and popular. But what I found is that what the crowd is interested in changes so often and is so unpredictable that just keeping up with it can be exhausting. I've tried having other people as my audience. When I was training at my best, one of the best weightlifters in the world was a guy by the name of Eddie Cohn. And so when I would train, I would ask myself, what would Eddie do? The problem is that his life was not my life, and what worked for him didn't always work for me, and he didn't care what I was doing. I've tried having my friends as my audience, always having a better story, always having a funnier joke. But what I found is that what people know me care most about is things like honesty and integrity. So who should our audience be? Who should we know is watching? Who should we care what they think? In the Gospel according to Matthew, Jesus says, "Beware of practicing your piety before others, because people who do this have already received their reward. Instead, it's better to live, not letting your left hand know what your right hand is doing. In this way, your Father who is in secret will reward you." I love the story about the older couple that went out for a drive one evening. They came up to a stoplight and pulled behind a younger couple in a pickup truck who was all over each other. It was hard to tell who was in the driver's seat. In the car with the older couple, the wife turned to her husband and said, "Why aren't we like that anymore?" The husband looked back at his wife and said, "I haven't moved." If you're finding it hard to know what God thinks, guess what? God hasn't moved. So if you're dealing with a difficult situation, maybe it would help to ask, what does the Lord think? Give it a try. See if you aren't happier, more at peace, and more hopeful when you live your life for an audience of one, and that one is Jesus. This piece of paper reminds me that I have a very ordinary life. These pieces of paper remind us that we are extraordinary. This is our Thursday, May 13th edition of a video series we're calling Stronger Faith. Stay safe and be well. God bless.